for this address. Keep your hands up and follow orders. This is the FBI. We have a warrant for...
They handcuffed me and my wife out here. They wanted me to sit on the curb while they were carrying this out, something that I refused to do. They wanted my wife to sit on the curb out here, that she refused to do.
As I was coming out, this big old drone met me.
The only revolutionary organization that's done something here on the ground practically for African people is the one that's come under attack. Institution that offers a community radio station, a newspaper, a commercial kitchen, an Aquaba Hall rental space, and community office for our organizers. That was the building that has come under attack.
You need a breach? What do you need?
Need one.
I don't know.
Let's hold that with money.
Hold
Thank you.
We will build a movement of white people that says hands off the Uhuru movement.
They see in the African People's Socialist Party a vanguard for the struggle for the liberation of our people. They see that because not just what we do here in the United States, but because we had the temerity to do like Garvey, to do like Malcolm X, and take the struggle of black people around the world.
Uhuru comrades, Uhuru friends, Uhuru everyone. My name is Mwazi Odom, and I am the chairperson of the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa Defense Campaign. And as we say, the counteroffensive against pushing back against the July 29 attacks on the African People's Socialist Party, which we understand was not an attack on the African People's Socialist Party. It was also an attack on the chairman, Amalia Shatella, who was leading this struggle for African liberation. And as we understand, an attack on the right for African people to advocate, organize for our liberation and for the self-determination of Africa and African people. So again, I want to appreciate you for being here on tonight for tonight's webinar. We have an exciting meeting planned for you tonight. We're going to have a slideshow that's going to come up in just a moment, calling on you to do what everybody should have already done, which is to share tonight's meeting. Get people on this meeting tonight. We want to be able to connect with the people, let them know what is happening. We do want to, before I go any further, let you know that if you are tuning in with us right now, we are live on YouTube, on Facebook, on various platforms, and you do have the option of opening or closing your camera. So if you do so, please know that you are consenting to do that as well. But what we plan on doing today, comrades and everyone, is again inviting you. There we go. It's up. Go to tinyurl.com. Send this link out to the world. tinyurl.com/hands-off-meeting. Get on this meeting right now. Uhuru. One thing that we are going to do today that will be very exciting is we have two main objectives for tonight's meeting. Again, we want to build the people's movement to fund the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa legal defense by winning your participation to raise funds for the legal fees needed to hire the lawyers and to defend Chairman Amalia Shatella and the other Uhuru movement leaders against these escalating attacks by the FBI and the US government. So we will be calling on you. That's why you showed up, because you unite with helping to push back and to raise these resources. Number two, tonight's event will be an opportunity for us to mobilize an emergency response to the economic warfare and the economic sanctions that are being imposed on the African community in the form of the collusion between Regions Bank and the FBI for attacking one of our institutions, APEDF, and the Uhuru movement. So I'm going to talk more about that. But on the next slide, I cannot go any further without saluting Chairman Amalia Shatella, the leader of the African People's Socialist Party, African Socialist International, and the founder and the birth of this campaign that will see us towards victory. So I just want to salute the chairman. I also want to salute Deputy Chair Onozanaya Shatella, who leads the over 50 economic institutions and economic development institutions of the movement, which have come under attack and that we will continue to talk about today. But I want to salute another example of theory in practice in these institutions, Deputy Chair Onozanaya Shatella. Now, and again, I have to thank and thank everybody for your support. Without your support, we will not be in this place in history, letting the US government and the FBI know that the people are watching, the people see what's happening. We appreciate all the support, the resources, the questions coming in, the ways to want to support, and we want to continue to keep in touch with you. So please email us. Let us know if you have any questions, if we cannot address that all today. But I wanted to just salute the people. So again, as you know, comrades, we are in a historic period. The FBI not only had to attack African people on the north side of St. Louis, but they had to attack in the white community, showing that there is a fracturing and a crisis in the system, that we have, as the chairman has developed, a solidarity component of our movement, which includes Black power in white face, as we say. And so as you see here on the screen are the 4 people that they have named in these bogus indictments from the July 29 raids, saying that these are unindicted, quote unquote, unindicted co-conspirators. And we will let you tonight let you know how you can too be an unindicted co-conspirator. So we'll talk more about that. But I want to show that these are some of the people who have been named, and the chairman, as we know, is the target. And we want to continue to salute and support and defend these comrades and others named in the indictments. We are going to go through this very quickly because so much has happened, comrades, but I want to let you know that again, the July 29 attacks was not the first. July 2nd, what we witnessed was 27 days before the FBI raids. There was a suspect that came outside of the Uhuru House in St. Petersburg, Florida, and torched the red, black, and green flag that hangs and waves proudly in this community with a military-style flamethrower. Okay, this was 27 days before the attack. And as you know, on July 29th, the attacks happened. And then in September, a petition that we had pushing out around the world, over 130,000 signatures on change.org, which, trust me, we're coming for you too. So we just want to make a note of that. But change.org wiped clean this entire petition that thousands of people, including many of you in this meeting, did sign. Also, on October 31st, a member of our movement, Timba Shabanda, was arrested for, quote unquote, making terroristic threats. And again, as we talk about, this was another attempt and another tactic of the FBI, to come in and to try to create division and fracture within this movement. But as we say, the Uhuru movement's got you. And so we want to just, make note of that, that we don't take none of this lightly. On December 2022, we heard of news of indictments of these unindicted co-conspirators happening in early 2023. And we feel this literally breathing down our necks, comrades, so we cannot take that lightly. And on January 7th, a building that we were in the process of purchasing right across the street from the chairman and deputy chair's home. Some of us had a chance to see this last weekend at the convention on the ground in St. Louis. This church is torched. It went up in flames during this process of purchasing this building. And again, we understand this as another threat, showing that we pose another threat because they know what we were going to do with this building. We had planned to build really important programs here. So we want to just make a note of that. And again, on February 14th, an attack by the Pinellas County board that, asked, that pushed forward to revoke a grant. And so we have, been fighting back on that, but we know that these are all parts of these attacks. And again, we're going to skip past the next slide. Yes, because again, the crisis of imperialism will continue to reveal itself in the colonial news and media. And here were just some examples, and there are probably many more out there of how what the chairman and what the party has been putting out in the world. Others are now seeing it and putting it out there, but we have to understand that this party is leading. Now, what we want to talk about today is in March 2023, these domestic economic sanctions on the Black community in the form of Regions Bank, in the form of GoFundMe, in the form of Facebook, all these different ways in which these institutions of the African People's Socialist Party and APDF, one of its organizations, have come under attack throughout our process, right? Since this raid, naming us as quote unquote politically, well, they haven't said this, but it's very clear, right, that we are now these politically exposed persons and holding money, which is what GoFundMe did, canceling the opportunity for Facebook fundraisers, for birthday fundraisers, Stripe as well, also playing into this. But Regions Bank, we're going to talk more about these attacks and their attack on the African People's Socialist Party by way of our organizations. So I'm gonna scoop next to the next slide, Karma. We have a little definition of what politically exposed persons mean, but they can say what they want and they'll change their rules as they do, as we know. Because as we know, this is a counteroffensive, and we're not gonna just sit here and tell you this is what happened. We're gonna tell you how we're gonna fight back. And as the chairman has said, we are not retreating, we are building. So before we get into how we will fight back against Regions Bank and give you some more information about what happened, I want to just really salute, this great mobilization and the great opportunity for the chairman to be out there on Saturday, this past Saturday in Washington, D.C., at the White House, at the Answer coalition with the anti-war rally that took place on Saturday, March 18th. We want to appreciate Eugene Puryear for your, and everybody who helped to support to get the chairman, to make this happen. And I want to take a moment to show a quick video of the chairman's presentation in front of thousands of people, getting the words out about the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa campaign in Washington, D.C. So let's take a quick moment to watch that video. Uhuru.
And next, I want to bring up one of the voices that this government has decided to target, not because he's doing the wrong thing, but because he's doing the right thing. Yeah. Chairman Omala Yeshitela of the African People's Socialist Party, the Hands Off Uhuru campaign. Yeah.
Uhuru! As it has been said, my name is Omala Yeshitela. I'm chairman of the African People's Socialist Party and chairman of the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations. On July 29th, at 5 o'clock in the morning, pre-dawn, an army of assault weapons toting, camouflage wearing, military forces identifying themselves as the FBI attacked my home. They used flashbang grenades, armored vehicles. They threatened my life and threatened my wife. They used drones. This was in St. Louis, Missouri, in the most economically depressed sector of that city. At the same time, on the white side of St. Louis, they attacked our movement, Solidarity Movement, and they used battering rams also there, knocked down doors. They held people hostage, handcuffed at gunpoint, as they did me and my wife, whom they handcuffed and zip-tied in front of our homes. They declared that despite the fact that I have been involved in fighting this system for most of the 81 years that I have been alive, despite the fact that I have opposed every predatory war that the United States, which, by the way, is the strategic enemy of all of humanity, despite the fact that I have always done that they have declared that black people are so stupid that it takes Russians to tell us that we are oppressed. I have never known a moment of black freedom for my entire life. I have never read of a moment since the beginning of a colonial mode of production where black people have been free. And yet they're saying that we are agents of some foreign power because we say black people must be free. Because we say Africa must be free. Because we say African people everywhere must be free. And we are here today to tell them that they don't have enough flashbang grenades in their arsenals to stop this struggle of black people and the oppressed peoples of the world to win our freedom. I understand that this particular mobilization is opposed to racism and opposed to bigotry. We say right on. But what we need you to be opposed to is colonialism. Colonialism. Because that is what victimizes African people here and most people around the world. It is the colonial mode of production that this government is attempting to protect. And they were doing so when they attacked my home, pre-dawn, threatened my wife, and also made 4 of us, of my party and the solidarity movement that I lead, unindicted co-conspirators. So they intend to indict us. But our responsibility is to put them on trial. We don't run, we don't cower, we fight back. We fight like hell, we fight back. They have charged me with the very same thing that they charged W.E.B. Du Bois with in 1951. They charged people like Paul Robeson with the very same thing. And we know that the FBI cut its teeth in the war against Marcus Garvey and the Universal Negro Improvement Association. So this is where it gets its origin. This is what it's about. But we are not about yet to fold. I'm calling on you, everybody here, to stand up against colonialism. I'm calling on you in this very brief moment. Go to Hands Off Uhuru.org. That's UHURU. And I'm calling on you to recognize that where we are standing now is a war crime. That America itself is a war crime. It couldn't exist without what it has done to the indigenous people here. And when I say indigenous people, I'm talking about the people who live in these concentration camps that they characterize as Indian reservations. I'm talking about the people who live in the concentration camps that are recognized as barrios and ghettos throughout this country. I'm talking about people who live in the concentration camps that they protect with walls and other things like that to keep the indigenous people that are coming back to this land to recapture what has been stolen from us. So I want to thank you very much. And I want you to recognize that African people here and most of the world, we're happy that you're against racism, but frankly it doesn't matter because we're not struggling to make anybody like us. We are struggling for power over our own lives. Because once we got power, it doesn't matter whether you like us or not. They don't like Chinese either. But they throw out this whole saying that they used to have, you don't have a Chinaman's chance. Because China has more chance than all of us. So the thing is that we are preparing to govern because we cannot be a dignified, self-respecting people until we are able to feed, clothe, and house ourselves. And that is our mission. And that is why we build economic development programs throughout this country. And that is why we are being under attack, because everything that we build for our own selves negates the power of the colonizer. And that is why they're attacking us. So I'm saying, come to St. Louis. Take a look for yourself. See how we've transformed the entire African community there. Come to St. Petersburg, Florida. Take a look for yourselves and see what we've done to transform that. And I want to thank you so much for being here. Hands off Uhuru. Hands off Africa. Ease Africa. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Wow. Yeah, just looking at the chat, some of you have already seen this. And again, just saying this was an electrifying speech. Just really want to salute the chairman for that, powerful and poignant, hitting it to the point presentation. And I just want to really salute everybody who made it out there. And you too can be a part of these mobilizations when we're out there, and we're going to talk about that soon. So Uhuru. And I just want to say that, the purpose of this campaign, we want to be able to, this is a mass campaign. So we want to say that if you unite on just even these basic, 7 basic principles, join the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa Defense Campaign. This is led by the African People's Socialist Party. But if you unite with just the basic that African people have the right to advocate and organize for the unification and liberation and self-determination of Africa and African people, join this campaign. Go to our website, check it out, and see what we are about, and join this fight back. Can't say that enough, comrades. So what you can do. We're going to talk more about that, and you have been hearing us say this often, what you can do: sign the petition, hold the fundraiser, sign the emergency response. We're going to give you more of that today, but what you can do right now in this moment, if you have not already, is take the emergency response pledge. If you are joining for the first time and you have a phone, take a photo, use that QR code right there, go straight to the website, sign up for the emergency response pledge to be notified in case of any if the colonial government, the FBI, whoever lays a finger on the chairman or any member of our movement, like they have done already, we want to be able to fight back. And if you have not signed up for our emails, for our newsletter, please, on the website, on the homepage, you will find a place for you to sign up to get email updates from the campaign. So do those right now, comrades, because things are going to be moving very quickly over the next few weeks, and we want you to stay up to date. So right now, I'm going to invite up Uhuru, a comrade, unindicted co-conspirator, the vice chair of this fight back, Vice Chair Penny Hess, welcome on camera with me. We're going to tell the people what they need to do, because they need to start to get right now prepared to mobilize. So Uhuru, comrade.
Uhuru, Chair Mwezi, it's an honor to be here.
Right on. All right, well, we have it right here. Thank you so much for being on here with me, comrade. If you've gone to our website, you've already seen this big banner that we have on the homepage that says "Stop Regions Bank's Attacks on the Black Community." We have some demands and we have some information for you, but this is a call to stop Regions Bank's racist sanctions against the Black community, to stop their attacks on APDF programs, and that they must reinitiate their accounts, or we're going to tell you what else you can do in this fight back. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Vice Chair Penny, to tell us about what's next. Uhuru.
Uhuru, thank you so much, Chair Mwezi, and I just really salute you. It's an honor to work in the Hands Off Uhuru campaign under your leadership. And of course, I want to salute Chairman Omale Shatella. It's an honor to be sitting right next to you, Chairman, today. And what a powerful, powerful, electrifying presentation that was last Saturday in Washington, D.C. Very exciting, and just laying out the most important points. And I also want to salute my leadership, Deputy Chair Ona Zinea Shatella, the coordinator, the architect of the Black Power Blueprint, who has just done an amazing job building the programs for dual and contending power in the hands of the African working class that are coming under attack right now, that we've heard about. and to say that I am very proud to be an unindicted co-conspirator, if it puts me in the camp of solidarity with the African liberation movement and under the leadership of the Vanguard Party. So, you know, the African People's Education and Defense Fund has come under attack with Regions Bank working in collusion with the FBI to attempt to once again destroy an organization that is working for and actually creating, and has been for over 50 years, the struggle, forwarding it for the total liberation of African people and Africa, and African people around the world. And Regions Bank, as we know, has let, in a very rude and vicious way, let APDF know, and board president Onozune Shatella, you know, that their relationship, which they had a working relationship with Regions Bank for over 20 years, you know, with resources and different accounts and loans that had all been paid back, of which they owed nothing, that they were being terminated, including a mortgage on one of the properties that is slated to be the Jico kitchen and community, you know, cafe that's coming up and raising money for. So, you know, just very viciously taking this on. And so Hands Off Uhuru is working with APDF for putting forward a campaign to take on Regions. And I'm really glad for this opportunity, because now looking into Regions, we can see, wow, what vicious parasites this bank is, built on, as the chairman says, the war crime, especially based in Birmingham, Alabama, which has its resources from 82 years of convict leasing, which is called worse than slavery, worse than enslavement. We have some pictures of that. I'm not able to see the screen right now, but just, you know what, yeah, they took little children, African children, and imprisoned them and forced them in labor. This is after the end of so-called chattel slavery. This is what built the wealth for white people in Alabama in particular, although all over the South. And by the 1880s, 73% of all the revenue that came into the state, generated in the state of Birmingham, of Alabama, was generated by convict leasing. So I just want to say that that is the basis for banks, and it's also the basis for this brutal prison system in that state and in the United States under this colonial mode of production that Chairman said. I just want to say a couple things about Regions. First of all, the president, the CEO, is named John Turner, and his salary is $8,500,000 every year. $8.5 million a year. And many of the other executives, leading executives of Regions, make between $2 and $3 million a year. And you can find out more about this on the homepage of Hands Off Uhuru, where we have an article, and it has links and puts all their salaries of their CEOs are in there. You can look at it yourself and see this, and that this $8.5 million a year just for the CEO is in a town that is 69% African, while Regions Bank only 18% of Regions employees are African. The city of Birmingham has 25.5% of its families living below the poverty line, and that is particularly true in the African community. So in September of 2022, just this past September, the U.S. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau forced Regions to refund and pay a fine of a total of $191 million fine, based on the fact that for 6 years, they had been charging, quote, surprise overdraft charges for just regular people, even when people would call and say, do I have enough money in my account to spend this? And they would say, yes, you do. They would still charge overdraft charges for them. And it turns out that they knew about this. They knew about it. They could have stopped it, but this was paying their salaries, you know, and it was coming from everyday people. This is not from the big corporations they work with, the big mortgages they do. This was from the everyday people that they were stealing this money from. And they figured that that it would be cheaper for them to pay the $191 million fine than to stop doing this because they were making so much money. And so, you know, this Regions Bank is also a backer, a financer of private prisons in the state of Alabama, which we know the notorious Atmore Pullman prison where Mafundi Lake, who's a political prisoner who has been who was a member of the Uhuru movement for many years before his death, was in and talked about the conditions in Atmore. For African people, freezing cold, no clothes, no bedding, just 2 pieces of toilet paper they had to put on his chest in the freezing cold night for many years in those conditions. This is what is happening. You know, Birmingham, Alabama is where the 4 young African girls were murdered in 1963 and the church bombing. I mean, this is the conditions that people face. And they still are making money through stealing from the African community. And just let me say really quick, and then I'll wrap up. On their Facebook page right now, this is from a couple of days ago, there's all of these complaints, nothing good said about, you know, in the messages there. Somebody saying, my 91-year-old grandma, they stole her money. She had a stroke and they've taken her money. Somebody else is saying, they charged my father monthly fees after his death for over a year and refused to give it back. Another person saying, my 87-year-old father has been defrauded by thousands of dollars from Regions. So we have to wage this campaign. And some of the things that are coming up are, first of all, if you have an account, take it out. And let me say also that Regions stocks are extremely low, and they have gone down by 25% in the last 4 weeks. They're only $18 a share. We've seen all this that's in the news right now, but about all these banks that are crashing. And let's push them over the edge. Take your money out. We want to run on this bank. Take your money out now of Regions Bank if you have anything in it. And don't go there with the flyer that's on the website. Tell them about this attack. You're taking this out in defense of the African People's Education and Defense Fund and the Black Power Blueprint, and stop the attacks and the sanctions on the African community. We're also going to have a Twitter storm this Friday. We want to go on their Twitter and Facebook pages between the hours of noon Eastern and 1 o'clock Eastern. We want everybody to go on and talk about what they've done to the Black Power Blueprint and APDF, and just make comments on Facebook and Twitter. We really want as many people as possible to participate in that. Take out your money. We're going to have a demonstration. We'll let you know more about that. We want to have a demonstration at their headquarters in Birmingham, and we're going to have other kinds of actions as well. But these are the things that we want to call on people to participate in now. Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Yeah. Ooh. Yes, and we're just getting started. Uhuru, Vice Chair Penny, I just want to appreciate you. I know there wasn't enough time to go over all of the offenses of Regions Bank, but you did it in that short amount of time. And yes, I want to say that if you have questions and you want to be a part of these mobilizations, you can email us. You can email at info@handsoffuhuru.org. Our chat moderators will put that in the chat for you, as well as We will have more information that you can find up on the website. So continue to check our events page. You will see the mobilizations and all that information there for you as well. So I just really want to appreciate that overview of how we're going to take down and take this fight back, to the streets, to the people. And thank you so much, Vice Chair Penny Hess. Uhuru. All right, comrades. So we are moving along in our program for tonight. And before I go any further, I cannot move any further without reminding us that this meeting, just like all of these meetings, have to work towards raising the resources for our goal of raising $277,500 towards the legal fees that we will need for this fight back. Tonight, we have a goal. Our goal is $1,000. So I want to thank those who have gone to handsoffuhuru.org/donate to already contribute towards this goal of $1,000 towards meeting our goal for tonight, our commitment in this meeting tonight. And we're going to thank you a little bit later. But as before I move forward, I am going to turn it back towards Aquaba Hall. I'm going to introduce Chairman Omali Yeshitela, who, as we know, is the leader of the African People's Socialist Party and the African Nation. Again, Chairman, as we know, and as we just saw in that video, continues to fight for the liberation of Africa and African people around the world for his over 81 years, well, his 81 years of his life, plus more, plus over 50 years of struggle, having been a member of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in the 1960s and forming the African People's Socialist Party in 1972. We know why we were attacked, because the chairman is leading this struggle. And I want to just salute you and ask everybody to welcome me in joining Chairman Omali Yeshitela. Uhuru, Chairman.
Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Uhuru, thank you so much, Comrade Sister Mwezi, and appreciation for the overview that was provided to us by Comrade Penny Hess. Looking at the issue of Regions Bank, because what is clear is that Regions is treating us like a hostile country. It has initiated sanctions against our movement. And here we have the same Regions that would provide mortgages for establishing private prisons, which there's someone at the door, comrades, is simply another way, a modern term for convict leasing. The same bank that in the state of Alabama that achieve so much wealth from convict leasing, which is just another form of slavery. Now, and would take away our capacity to pay our mortgage on the one hand, and then give loans, pay mortgage loans to locking up Black people in Alabama. So I think it's really important for us to identify Regions, to identify what it is doing. And I'm sure that it's possible if you looked at any bank in this country and most banks in the world, you would find something similar to what you find with Regions. But Regions has become a publicly, as far as we're concerned, a public instrument, a conscious instrument, working hand in glove with the government to crush our movement because we just want to be free people. And the same way it is used in the sanctioning is used against movements in countries around the world. I think that it's also, people may have seen, Comrade Mwezi, that most of the people, many of the people certainly who participate in this Hands Off Uhuru campaign are not members of the African People's Socialist Party. They're just mostly people who don't like oppression, don't like exploitation, and what have you. And it's not even necessary for them to be members of the African People's Socialist Party. We're not even suggesting that. We're asking that people join this campaign committee. And this is the thing that will represent this counteroffensive that we're talking about. We create a situation where every attack that they make on us is something that we utilize to punch them back harder. And what they have done, whatever their intentions, when they open up this assault through Regions Bank, they just open up a new front of struggle as far as we're concerned. We're fighting, and we intend to fight Regions Bank too. And I think it's going to be extremely important for us, especially right now at this moment when the banks that are bleeding people all around the country are utilizing or being guaranteed by Joe Biden's Democratic Party that they don't have to worry about anything when people are taking their monies out of banks throughout this country, that they are bankrolling. They are suggesting they're telling the banks that we got your back, and that they will use the people's resources to support these banks to keep them from crashing. And what we are saying is that this is extraordinarily silly that Regions would be doing this to us with the banks themselves in such disrepute among the people all around the world. That's not just in this country, around the world, this thing is spreading. The banks don't have a good reputation. And so, and we are fighting back. I wanted to say that. And what is happening also is that the United States government is attacking and has attacked peoples and governments and movements and countries around the world and putting themselves forward as some kind of rules-based society. They're fighting for a rules-based international order. And to prove that is true, they have utilized the International Criminal Court to indict Vladimir Putin. So here's another Russian that they are indicting. And that shows you that they're rules-based international order, they say. And now Putin has been indicted. And then guess what? Putin and the Russians don't recognize the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court. But guess what? Neither does the United States recognize the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court. And people who read about the indictment of Putin usually don't get an opportunity to read that the United States does not even respect the jurisdiction of the International Court, has no respect for that court. And so while you're reading about it and seeing it all splashed all across the platforms and mediums of the colonial state power, it's propaganda that they're using. It's not law, it's propaganda that they're using. It's not law that they respect. But the question is, do they respect any law? And so here, I think it's really important, to recognize that. So the African People's Socialist Party has not committed any crime. Even according to their rules, we haven't committed a crime. They may create some new crimes to fit the problem that they have with us, but we haven't committed any crime. And that's part of what you're going to have to be able to say and do yourself. You have to be able to say that freedom of speech is no crime, FBI. That freedom of using the right to vote is no crime. You have to be able to say freedom of association is no crime. Freedom of thought is no crime. And hands off Uhuru, hands off Africa. So that's part of what it is that you have to participate in doing. We have to be able to expose and treat them like what they are, which is a military thugs, that they have no respect for law. And if we haven't committed a crime, and I contend we have committed no crime at all, if we had not committed a crime, then why have they attacked us? And that's the question that I'm saying that you can ask and you can answer, because most of the people we've talked to do not feel that we've committed any crime. Of course we haven't. And then the question becomes, if we haven't committed a crime, why have they attacked us? And then you can only conclude that it's political reasons that has justified, motivated the attack that they've made on us. And so that's extremely important for us to be able to recognize. And that I wanted to say that most people know that the African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru movement is an extraordinarily transparent organizational movement. And you won't find greater transparency in any organization, any place in this country around the world. You find what our platform is printed in our newspaper. Once a month, you can find it in the newspaper. This is what we believe right here. It doesn't mention Russia at all. This is what we believe right here. And we believe this since the 1970s when we first introduced this platform as our platform. You can find out how we understand the world, going back, looking at, we have a Congress every 5 years. And before every Congress that we have put forth a political report, a main resolution saying, this is how we understand the world. This is what we believe in. This is what we have to do in order to advance our freedom. It's not necessary to use flashbang grenades to learn that. It's not necessary to get an indictment to learn that. The fact is that we are an extraordinarily transparent organization, and we haven't committed any offense. And even before the Congress, there's a minimum of 2 months debate that happens inside our movement. It's published. If people know that the debate is going to happen, they can tune in to the debate on social media around what it is that we believe, what it is that we understand the situation in the world is today, and where it is that we have to go. So we're an extraordinarily transparent movement and transparent organization. So I'm calling on everybody to get into Birmingham because we are going to have a demonstration there at Regions Bank in Birmingham, the main headquarters, they say. And we want everybody who can get there to come to that demonstration. And we want Regions to have to explain to its stockholders. And our experience has been when we've got in touch with some region employees that the workers don't even know what the hell is going on. They had no idea that this attack was being made on our movement, our institutions, on the economic development for our community, and even the attack being made on individuals who are part of our movement by withdrawing their accounts. So that this is, as I said, something that most people have no information about, don't know anything about. So we want to go there. We want you to go. We want everybody who is a part of this process to mobilize, to prepare, to get into Birmingham, Alabama, so that we can have that demonstration, so that we can force the regions to have to explain to us stockholders this attack that they're making even on their money, because we're calling on people to withdraw. That regions and the FBI, the federal government use regions to sanction us, then we're calling on the people to sanction region. And so we can do that. Take the money out, put the demonstrations out, pass out flyers in every community you are. You can get these flyers. Go and stand in front of a region, even if it's only you. Stand out and pass out information, people going into regions, coming out of regions. If you can, we'll even supply the mock-up, and we may have already done it, so that you can make banners that you can hang off overpass and stuff like that, indicting region, sanctioning regions for attacking on the African community. So this is where we are now, and we think it's really, really important for you to participate. We don't want to just have another meeting to talk at you. The thing is to be able to introduce you into another avenue in which we can fight back against this attack that's being made on us. And this is one of the few times that you have an opportunity, what it is that the African People's Socialist Party is doing. One of the few times you have an opportunity to go more than just say free somebody, just stop doing this, but to actually fight, to stick a finger in their eye. And that's what has to be done. And related to that, and this is what I would say mostly, is that part of what we're experiencing now is the general political situation that's happening in the world. We're experiencing a need to shut down any complaints about the United States government in the changing context of the world order. So the United States is not simply this unipolar force hegemon that can tell everybody what to do. And another thing that we are looking at is Biden needs to show he's tough because Biden is the un-Trump. And that's why, he's threatened Putin. And that's why they're shooting out empty balloons flying over the air, etc. He's an un-Trump. He's not Sleepy Joe at all. He's a bad guy. He's a tough guy. And that's why they're attacking us. And what we're saying is, and what you must understand, is that the Democratic Party hasn't for a very long time been able to win a presidential election without the black vote. And what has to happen is Biden is campaigning now, part of it with the attack on us and all this other stuff that he's doing. And this is part of his campaign. And what we're saying is that we join in this campaign debate by challenging the Democratic Party and letting the Democratic Party and Biden know that we will do everything we can to minimize participation by African people and other people into support for the Democratic Party. Because mostly people have supported the Democratic Party, especially Africans, not because the Democratic Party has a program for us, but because they're scared of the Republicans. Vote for Biden or you'll get Trump. Vote for Biden or you get the other nasty white man who likes you even less. And what we are saying is that that's not enough to get the vote anymore, because there's a movement afoot that's bringing real freedom, real possibilities of freedom that allows African people to see the sky for the first time in a very long time in this history due to the attacks that's been made on our struggle. That's what our agenda is. Our agenda can be found in the Black Power Blueprint that's actually bringing economic development to African communities and negate the power of the colonizer. That's exactly why they've used regions to try to cut it off so that we cannot set that kind of example for African people, but we're going to do it. And we call on you to do it. And we're saying to you that Biden and the Democrat, they are not the only alternative. What you got to do is hit back at Biden and the Democratic Party, hit back at regions and what have you, and join this campaign, Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa, and force them to make this retreat and pay a consequence if they don't make the retreat. Let them know that we will mobilize everybody we can, every community. We exist in more than 100 and maybe 200 or so cities in this country. And what we want to do is every doorstep that we have a capacity to do, every yard, put up a sign that is indicting Biden and the Democratic Party. You can't get our vote by attacking black people at the same time. That's what we have to do.
Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Uhuru, Chairman. Hands off Uhuru. Hands off Africa. Uhuru, touch one of us and you touch all of us. So thank you, Chairman, for that electrifying call to mobilization. As you said, this is our opportunity that we have to, as we say, get off the sidelines and let's give them a run for their lives, as you said, Chairman. And just really want to salute that presentation and those who have donated, who have already been donating and heard the call that we have a goal of raising $1,000 for tonight's meeting. And I want to appreciate those of you who have already gone to handsoffuhuru.org/donate to make that pledge, to make that donation for tonight's meeting. And again, if you have any questions as we move on in our program, if you have any questions at all, please put them in the chat. Our chat moderators are saving the questions so that we can address them before our next meeting, and possibly some of them today in the chat. So comrades, we have an exciting program that is continuing. I want to bring up again our comrades on the ground in Aquaba Hall, another quote unquote unindicted co-conspirator, plus others who will be joining Comrade Jesse Neville, who will be talking to us about the creative ways that we can raise funds and show us all the different ways that the people can help to raise resources for this campaign. So I want to salute and appreciate you, Comrade Jesse Neville. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Uhuru. Hands off Uhuru.
Hands off Africa.
Uhuru, Chair Mwezi, thank you so much. And I'm very honored to be here and very honored to be here next to Chairman Amalia Shatella. And just want to salute the presentation that was just given by the chairman and express my total unity with this strategy, that it is a winning strategy to kick the ass of Regions Bank and to bring them down, to make their bottom line just absolutely tank, and also to just bring disrepute to the Democratic Party, to Biden, and this whole U.S. government and FBI assault on the African People's Socialist Party. And I also just want to appreciate Vice Chair Penny's presentation earlier that laid out the just gruesome colonial history of the banking system of regions in particular, and the overall economy of colonial capitalism in Alabama and throughout this country. And what I'm here to talk about today is how every single person who is a part of the Hands Off Uhuru campaign, every single person who is on this call today can participate in one of the most important things that you can do as a member of the Hands Off Uhuru campaign, which is raising funds, which is raising money for the Hands Off Uhuru Legal Defense Fund. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And if you go to the next slide, this is a graphic that we put out stating the goal for this current period of fundraising for the Hands Off Uhuru Legal Defense, $277,500 needed to secure the legal representation needed to go in and defend Chairman Omali Yeshitela and other Uhuru movement leaders and the African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru movement against these bogus indictments by the US government. And we have currently, if you go to the next slide, we have currently raised 61% of those resources. $169,649 has been raised up to this point. And the way that we are going to get to 100% is through the participation of each and every person who is a part of this campaign. And as Chairman Omali Yeshitela has taught us over and over again, this is a people's movement. And that is how we're going to raise this money. We're going up, the party is going up against the federal government of the United States that has all the access to the stolen resources of African and colonized peoples around the world. And yet, they don't have what the Uhuru movement has, what the African People's Socialist Party has, which is that it is rooted in the masses, that it has the support of the masses of African people and many, many other nationalities, including those of us in the white community who stand in solidarity with the right of African people to organize and advocate and fight and win their liberation and self-determination. So this is a people's movement. And when you sign up and make a pledge to raise money for the Hands Off Uhuru campaign, you're doing more than just raising money. You're building the movement. Because in order to raise money, you have to organize. You have to bring people together. You have to win your friends and family. You have to go out into the community. You have to go door to door, like the chairman just said. You have to go do outreach tables. You have to hold events. You have to put up posters. Being out in the world, building this campaign on the ground is not only what will raise the money for the lawyers, but is also, as the chairman has struggled for us to understand, what will build the movement in the world that will make it possible for the lawyers to have any success in the courtroom. That what happens in the streets, building the movement is the key thing. It's the key thing to winning, and it's the key thing to raising the money. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And so far, next slide, supporters have contributed a total of $169,631. That includes at least 310 donors. It's more than that because some people have given at events or given anonymously, but it's at least 310 donors. So that includes a few very significant contributions, but it also includes hundreds of donations of various amounts. And the average donation size is $240. So let's go to the next slide. So originally this said if, but we crossed that out. When 458 people on average pledge or donate $240 each, we will exceed our goal. So this is very doable. And that it's all about just showing the world what this is, showing the world this campaign, showing the world the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, and we can raise these resources. So what we want to ask today to everybody who is tuned in, and I mean everybody, we want every single person who is, no matter what other aspect of this campaign that you are involved in, fundraising will be woven through everything that we are doing as the Hands Off Uhuru campaign. Who will make a pledge to raise $500 or more by the end of April? That is the deadline that we're setting for winning a massive amount of people to raise at least $500 or more towards the Hands Off Uhuru campaign by the end of April. So you can start letting us know in the chat right now if you are willing to take that step and make a pledge to raise $500 or more to the Hands Off Uhuru legal defense by the end of April. So again, our deadline is April 30th. Funds urgently needed. We want to just get this done, get this behind us, and continue to go forward with this incredible campaign. So our goal for today's meeting, and a little bit later in the event today, there will be a call for donations where you can go to the website and donate. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is making a pledge to raise money, to actually organize, hold events, and be out in the community to raise resources towards this campaign. And our goal for today's meeting is $10,000 in pledges. People are already starting to pledge. I want to shout out Johan Bedingfield in Florida, who pledged to do a $500 fundraiser. So Uhuru to Johan, Uhuru. And Ember, who I believe is joining us from California, also pledged to do a fundraiser of at least $500. Uhuru to Ember. All right, so we're already $1,000 of the way towards our goal. And if you go to the next slide, what this is about is unleashing your creativity, your skills, your talents, your passion to fund the Hands Off Uhuru legal defense. And as the title of our event stated, this is how we win. And this is a picture of our contingent at the Answer Coalition rally. I just want to salute that incredible presentation that the chairman gave at that rally, and it was very well received. I had the honor to be there. Thousands of people were there, and there was great enthusiasm for the chairman and for the Hands Off Uhuru campaign at that event. So if you go to this link, tinyurl.com/HOU fundraising toolkit, you will find a Google Drive folder that has fundraising talking points, a phone banking script, a sample budget, and a sample fundraising plan. These are some of the things that you can use to develop your fundraisers. And if you go to the handsoffuhuru.org website, you can find campaign talking points and videos, including an FBI raid, the video about the FBI raids that we showed at the beginning of this event, and a video that that the Info Ed Tech director, Akile, and I produced about the Sanctuary City resolution that recently was seen by over 14,000 people on TikTok. So those two videos are available on the website, and those are very helpful as fundraising tools. I want to quickly just read these basic talking points for this fundraising campaign. That funding the legal defense team to represent Chairman Omali Yeshitela and the other 3 unindicted co-conspirators, along with other Uhuru leaders who are being targeted by the US government with bogus charges of being Russian agents. $277,500 are needed for legal fees to retain legal representation for the chairman and the other so-called unindicted co-conspirators who we have strong indications to believe that within weeks, maybe days, possibly tomorrow, will face indictment, arrest, and be put on trial for fighting for the liberation of African people. And the chairman has said from the beginning that if they put the Uhuru movement and the chairman on trial, the chairman and the Uhuru movement will put them on trial. We'll put the FBI on trial, the US government on trial, the colonial state on trial. And that's what you're supporting when you donate to and fundraise for the Hands Off Uhuru legal defense. The legal counteroffensive, the political counteroffensive of which the legal defense is a component. So it is urgent to raise this money. It's a stand against all repression, the stand for the right of African people to freedom of speech, political assembly, and expression. And we are confident we can push them back. We can win. We can beat them. That's what this is about. That's what you're saying when you raise resources for and donate to the Hands Off Uhuru legal defense. So here are 14 fun, simple, and creative ways to raise funds for Hands Off Uhuru. And I'm going to be joined by some amazing comrades who are actually people who have done this work, who have built events or who are building events that are really dynamic fundraisers for the Hands Off Uhuru legal defense. So I want to go through this quickly so we can hear from them. So one thing you can do is hold film nights. And these are some great flyers from the Uhuru Furniture and APEDF in Philadelphia. Very inspiring. And we also had a film series at the Uhuru Solidarity Center after the FBI raids. And this is something that you can do. We have a list of films that you can we can share with you about the history of the FBI and its attacks on the African liberation movement. And this is a great way to raise resources for the Hands Off Uhuru Legal Defense Fund. The next thing is outreach tables. This is something we want to see a lot more of. We can do outreach tables everywhere, in the communities, at markets, outside of grocery stores, anywhere we can, on campuses, hold outreach tables that are specifically and exclusively about Hands Off Uhuru, with all the literature, with the burning spear, with the banner, with a donation can. And that's something we can raise a lot of money, hundreds of dollars, if not more, at every outreach table that we hold. So that's something that you can do to raise funds. You can also hold a benefit concert. And I want to just, I'm briefly going to be joined by comrade Jamie Simpson, who's going to be joining us on Zoom. And Jamie is in St. Petersburg, Florida, where he and many other comrades are working to build this amazing benefit concert called Voices of Resistance that will feature director Akile Anai, among many other incredible artists who will be there. So Jamie, if you could come on and just tell us a little bit about what you're up to in St. Pete building this benefit concert.
Uhuru, Jesse, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, Uhuru comrades, just want to salute this mass meeting. I want to salute Chairman Omali Yeshitela and the African People's Socialist Party and the Hands Off Uhuru campaign. And yeah, so the Voices of Resistance benefit concert is a fundraiser for the Hands Off Uhuru Legal Defense Fund. And we're really excited about the momentum that we seem to have behind this so far. It's going to feature Director Akile Anai of the Department of Agitprop of the African People's Socialist Party, who will be speaking, giving an overview at this event. We have a really amazing artist, musician by the name of Sade Sunday, who's also involved in building this campaign in a really significant way. We've got bands Rudderkin and Witch Hiatus, which are both like punk indie bands. We've got folk musician Shauna Smith. We've got poets Life Malcolm, Pedro El Poeta. We've got musician Werlin Garcia. We've got who else do we have? We have a poet by the name of Charles Hines. We've got a African drumming duo by the name of Healing Faya. So it's going to be a really dynamic event that I think will pull together a nice cross section of different types of music with different types of fans that will come out and support. And we hope to raise, we know we will raise at least $2,000 towards the Hands Off Uhuru Legal Defense Fund at this event. And I'm really excited about it. I hope that other people will really take on, doing this kind of thing wherever you're located. This is not something I've done before. This is something that, I saw a benefit concert for like an abortion fund last October. And it occurred to me, this has to happen for Hands Off Uhuru. It just takes enthusiasm and seeing it happen, get the momentum going. Once the musicians get involved, it takes on a momentum of its own. So I'm really excited about it. Please be in touch with me if you want to come out and be part of this concert.
Wow. All right. Uhuru. That's awesome. Thank you, Jamie. Very, very exciting and inspiring. And I just want to salute Jamie and Johan and all the comrades in the Southern region, and Sade and Director Akile, of course, and everybody who's involved in this benefit concert, and the $2,000 pledge. So that, with the other pledges, and Comrade Raya Fogarty, who's pledging to do a fundraiser for $500 in April, Uhuru Raya. So that brings us to, so far, $3,500 pledged. And there are, way more people than on this meeting than just the 4 or 5 people who have pledged so far. So again, I want to reiterate a call. Everybody start thinking about what you can do. Continue to be inspired by the examples that you're going to see in this presentation, and let us know in the chat how much, or if you are able to pledge to raise $500 or more, and we can be in touch with you. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So now I'm very honored to be joined right here in St. Louis by Comrade Fofeet, who will be joining us on stage here, and also Grace, who is on Zoom, who will be joining us. And they both worked to build an amazing poetry event right here in Aquaba Hall just a few weeks ago as a fundraiser for the Hands Off Uhuru Legal Defense. So this is another thing you can do. And to talk about what that looks like and what that means, we're now going to hear from Fofeet. Uhuru, you can come up here.
Uhuru, comrades.
Uhuru.
Fist up.
Fight back.
Yes, and we will. We will win. The poetry event that we were involved in, it was Comrade Grace and myself. We had a few things. We had a system that we had put together according to organization, because without organization, nothing will happen the way you plan. We consolidated the name and the date of the event. We calculated how many poets that would go into the time frame that we were planning to have for the Uhuru, for the Sunday rally. And we called and confirmed each poet. She chose 3 and I chose 3. We went down a list of about 4 or 5 each. After we got each poet confirmed, we had this amazing flyer created by one of our comrades here on the ground, Comrade Demba. We set up outreach, and both on the ground and in social media. We asked each poet to bring 1 or 2 people each to the event and to spread the word on their Facebook or Instagram or whatever page that they had for themselves. We stayed in contact with our poets to inform them of and educate them on what the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa fundraiser was about. I sent them each the website so they could read it and get familiar with what it was about, how we're here in the community, and how we're fighting for African liberation. And how we asked them, how does it affect them, the things that's going on in the world? We asked them to this gave them time to craft poetry or to choose a piece of their own that they had already created that fit the occasion. In the end, we showed them appreciation by giving each one of them a special gift at the end of the night. And last thing I have to say, it takes organization to get a successful outcome in whatever you do. Before I met the movement, I did poetry events all the time, mostly around my birthday, for myself, for other groups, for other poets. But it was much easier and it was much more successful to do it with the organization, because you've got people to balance and check, people to think of things that you didn't think of when you think you got everything on your list. It would take me like 3 to 4 months to get a event put together when I was trying to do it by myself. But I'm gonna tell you, it was much easier. We did it in like 3 weeks, and we had a really nice crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And that let me know you got organization, girl. You can get this done. So anybody that wants to do a poetry event or a musical event or any type of fundraiser that includes arts and talent, people love to hear themselves talk. People love to hear their own music, and appreciation is what it's about, because it's instant gratification to do these kind of things with a purpose. So you can do it too. Just get organized, get your people together, and let them know it's not just for you, it's for them, it's for their people, and they're appreciated. People love to be appreciated. Wow. And when you can appreciate them for appreciating you, for giving their talent for a purpose and a cause, it's worth it.
Uhuru,
thank you. Thank you, Comrade Fofi. Uhuru. That was powerful. And that's amazing to learn that incredible event was built in 3 weeks. That was very impressive. It was just incredible to be there. So just salute to Comrade Fofi. And that was very inspiring. And I really appreciate what Fofi said about organization. And that's something everybody watching should know, that when you sign up to make a pledge to raise $500 or more to this campaign, you're not alone. You're not just sent off to do it by yourself. We will work with you. We have people that, are in the fundraising committee that can meet with you and help you make your plan and be part of the process up until the day of your event or whatever it is that you're going to be doing to raise these resources. So if you were inspired by what Comrade Fofit just had to say, please continue letting us know in the chat that you are on board to make a pledge to raise funds for this campaign. So I'm going to go through this quickly. I know I'm running out of time. If we go to the next slide, you can do bake sales. This is another thing that people can do to raise funds for this campaign. Next slide. You can build an event, and you can build an event where you show videos of the chairman and other videos about this campaign, or you can even build a larger event where you bring the chairman, where you bring speakers from the Hands Off Uhuru campaign. There's an amazing events and tour committee of Hands Off Uhuru that can work with you. But this is a great way to raise resources. And we've had entire speaking tours for Hands Off Uhuru that have been great fundraisers. So this is something that you can do. Next slide. Yard sales. This is another great fundraiser. You've got a bunch of stuff you've been wanting to get rid of. You can hold a yard sale and we've had people do yard sales and raise thousands of dollars actually. So this is another great fundraiser that anyone can do. Next slide. Sell your art. So Fofit just talked about the importance of artists and culture, and we have so many amazing artists in this movement. So this is another thing you can do. You can sell your art either by selling it at markets or on tables, or we can work with you to set up a way of selling it online and have the proceeds go towards the Hands Off Uhuru campaign. And I just want to salute Deputy Chair Onezene Eshatella, who pledged to do a $500 fundraiser by April. Uhuru Deputy Chair. Uhuru.
Uhuru.
So now everybody's got to be like Deputy Chair and go ahead and make your pledge. Go in the chat and let us know. Thank you. Salute to Deputy Chair Onezene. You can hold a raffle. This is another fundraiser. Next slide. Teach a yoga class. And I want to give a special shout out to Comrade Ann Leslie, who is out in Ecuador, who has pledged to do a fundraiser of teaching a yoga class with a goal for $400 a month. This is going to be a continuous fundraiser. So that's going to be an incredible thing. And I know I think Ann is on this call. So if you wanted to say anything, Ann, just let me know. But I just want to appreciate this comrade for starting up this process of doing virtual yoga classes. They will be starting next Sunday at 12 Central. So like right after you get through the chairman's amazing study on Sunday morning, you can do some yoga with Comrade Ann Hirsch, or Ann Leslie out in Ecuador. So that's a great Sunday right there. That's a great way to spend your Sunday. Do some political education and then some physical education. So.
She's on.
Oh, Ann is on. All right, Uhuru Ann. Uhuru. Oh, there you are. Uhuru Ann.
Uhuru. I just want to say that I'm just thrilled to be able to offer this class, as reparations to support the defense of the chairman and the other comrades who've been, I've seen for 23 years struggling for liberation for African people. And I just want to say how much I trust the party and the chairman, and that you can trust him too. And that, this party has only ever shown that they are working for the people. Yes. And I don't know very many organizations who can say that. So yeah, the yoga class will be for all levels. And I'm certified in a particular kind of yoga, which uses breathing and mental focus. It's especially good for if you've had an injury, if you have any problem areas that are particularly tight. But also I'll be addressing whatever the individuals in the class need. We'll do about an hour and 15-minute class each week. And I know I've seen online that the chairman is calling on everyone to get strong for this upcoming period. And yoga is not only about relaxation, it's about strength, It's about a centered focus. And it should be a discipline that nurtures you, a discipline that is a devotion. As the chairman is devoted to the party, and we all have seen his discipline, and that discipline comes from a devotion and a love for something. And that's the way that I teach this yoga class, is that that's what we want. And so it's particularly powerful to be able to offer this as reparations, because that's part of the yamas and niyamas, the ethics of yoga, is telling the truth and not stealing. What better way to do that than raise reparations?
That's great. That sounds like the kind of yoga class I would want to go to, Anne. That's awesome. So thank you, comrade. And did you want to just say your goal before you go? Okay. All right, well, you can let us know in the chat. So thank you. That's very inspiring. Thank you, Comrade Ann. And so far, we have pledges of $4,000. And I'm going to pledge to raise $500 by the end of April. So that brings it to $4,500. So we're almost halfway there. And we want to just continue to encouraging you to let us know in the chat. You don't have to know what your fundraiser is going to be just yet, but you can know that you want to do one. You want to raise funds. You want to make this happen. You want to make this a reality. So let's go quickly through the last few slides here. Next slide is going door to door. And this is something I think I want to do to raise my 500 is actually go door to door and raise resources, because I expect it will be very easy. I haven't run into almost anybody who supports what the US government and the FBI is doing to the African People's Socialist Party, and who isn't absolutely outraged and appalled when they hear about it, and who want to support this movement, who want to support this campaign. And I heard from Comrade Matum in the northern region that in Washington, D.C. a week or two ago, or a month or so ago, for another demonstration, he was out there wearing a Hands Off Uhuru shirt, and somebody ran up to him with a $100 bill and said, "Oh, I heard about that." Boom, just gave him the $100 bill. And that was, so this is going to be easy to do, to make this goal, to reach your pledge. So going door to door is a great way to do it. Knocking on doors, talking to people about this campaign, raising money right there on the spot. The other thing you can do is ask your friends and family, and we will provide you with a template email script that you can modify and personalize to reach out to friends and family members. This is something that we've done in the past for different campaigns that has been very successful, to win people to contribute towards your personal goal to raise funds for this campaign. And finally, you can do a house event, gather people together in your living room and show videos about this campaign and make dinner for people, or have some other kind of special thing that you do, a house party, a house gathering that is designed to raise funds for this campaign. And actually there's one more, which is that you can teach a class, kind of like what Comrade Ann is doing. You can do that with any skill you have: cooking classes, music lessons, art lessons, exercise classes. We have Comrade Wendy Craig in San Diego, who did how to make your own laundry detergent workshop once as a reparations fundraiser, how to make your own chocolate, how to make your own soap, how to make your own whatever you know how to make. You can hold a fundraiser for Hands Off Uhuru doing that. And next slide, the Hands Off Uhuru fundraising support team. We will work with you. We will support you. We're going to be holding a follow-up check-in with all fundraisers next week, and we'll be in touch about that. And I also want to call on people to join the Hands Off Uhuru fundraising team. We actually have a committee that meets on a regular basis to push forward this fundraising effort. And Comrade Ann will do $400 by April and then monthly thereafter. So Uhuru Ann, that is awesome. So that brings us to $4,900 by the end of April pledged for today. And people can continue letting us know in the chat. And just to go to the next slide, these are some of the roles you can play on the fundraising committee: researchers, helping us do outreach to celebrities and major donors, writing, designing, video editing, and building giving circles for Hands Off Uhuru, where we reach out to wealthy people about, coming together and creating giving circles where people bring their associates, their friends and family and people they know together, specifically with the goal of giving resources to a specific cause. And in this case, it would be the ultimate cause, which is the cause of Hands Off Uhuru, the liberation of humanity. So last but not least, we need people to sign up to be volunteers for our donor appreciation team to help get thank you cards out and other ways of appreciating all of our amazing donors. So we will continue to update our goal throughout the night, but I just want to thank everybody who has signed up to make a pledge. Yes, Uhuru.
I want to do a fundraiser.
All right, Uhuru Temba. You know your goal?
500. We do 500.
Uhuru Comrade Temba is pledging $500 by the end of April. Uhuru. So that brings us to 5,400. And we've still got a little bit more in this meeting. So I anticipate people will continue mulling it over what you're able to do and will let us know in the chat so we can get to our goal of $10,000 pledged tonight to come in by the end of April. So thank you, Chair Mwezi. Thank you, Chairman Amalia Shatella. Salute to the African People's Socialist Party and Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa.
Uhuru, wow, Uhuru comrades. Just really want to appreciate that mobilizing and very informative and laid it all out there. There's everything that we need at our fingertips type of presentation. Thank you so much, Chair Jesse. I want to appreciate Jamie, as well as Comrade Ann and Comrade Fofeet and the comrades on the ground for just, setting an example of what it can look like to be creative in this process of raising the resources. Comrade Ann, I meant to ask if those, maybe it was mentioned, if those yoga classes are online. If ever I'd like to join one and help put that money towards this campaign. So I just wanted to say that. And yes, they are online. Okay, I did catch that. So yeah, help Comrade Ann reach her goal of raising $400 for this campaign. So Uhuru comrades, $10 per class. There you go. And please, again, our chat moderators will put it in the chat. The amount, or not the amount, but where to go to take a look at the Hands Off Uhuru fundraising toolkit. I want to thank you, Jesse, for putting that out there. Comrades, we are moving on in our program, but again, we want to thank those who have been donating already to this webinar, who said, maybe I can't fundraise to do that right now, but right now, tonight, I want to help us reach our goal of $1,000. So I want to appreciate everybody who has been going to handsoffuhuru.org to help us meet our goal. We're going to move on in our program. Our next speaker is possibly on their way coming onto this call. So we're going to move right into our appeal for tonight. And again, I want to appreciate and bring up a dear comrade of mine, a fierce leader in our movement, a maestro. If you ever hear the music on the beginning of Omali Taught Me, this comrade had their fingerprint all over that. And I want to salute and appreciate Comrade Alikia Ngoma, who is on screen somewhere. I'm sure you're on. I think I saw you open your camera. Uhuru comrade.
Uhuru Chair Mwezi, Uhuru to everybody who is participating with us this evening. Uhuru to Chairman Amalia Shatella and everybody at the Aquaba Hall in St. Louis, Missouri. Uhuru.
Comrade, yeah, I'm glad you're here. This is that part of the webinar where we get to get people excited and everybody can participate in this part of the webinar where we have an opportunity to again acknowledge that we have a goal to raise. We have to raise $277,500 for the legal defense team. And I just want to again say that our commitment is $1,000 on tonight's webinar for the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa legal defense. And I want to say that with your support already, comrades, we have raised a total of $169,649. That is not including all those pledges that we just said that we will do. But tonight, if we raise $1,000, we can surpass our $170,000 goal, which is a goal that we can definitely make. So you can start by doing that right now by going to handsoffuhuru.org/donate. And I don't know about you, Comrade Alikia, but I know we can do it. What do you think? Uhuru.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that we can do it. We have the support of the people with us, and I just want to begin by acknowledging some of the people who have already made contributions during this event. We have Comrade Leah with $100 contribution. We have John M with $32 contribution, MQ with $20 contribution, Comrade Allison with a $20 contribution, Comrade Mads $5, Janine $10, Comrade Chimarenga Salambao $20. We have Comrade Ruby with $50. Uhuru to all of you who have made a contribution so far. And again, uhuru to everybody who just made pledges of fundraising events that you will be holding to raise resources for the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa, Uhuru Legal Defense Team.
Uhuru comrade, and yes, and salute to those who have already gone to Hands Off Uhuru to make those donations. Thank you, Comrade Alikia. And I want to also thank those who donated even before tonight's event. Since our last event, I want to appreciate Shakir for their $20 donation, Christopher for their $20 donation, Shabaka for a $25 donation, and Belinda Parker Brown for a $50 donation. I wanted to mention you, comrades, at the beginning because after our last event, you were still pouring in. So we want to appreciate you. Comrade Alikia, I'm going to talk about some of the give backs because again, anyone who gives over $1,000 will be receiving a Hands Off Uhuru t-shirt. So you can see the t-shirts and the sweatshirts there on the screen. And then a $5,000 or more donation will get you a Hands Off Uhuru sweatshirt. They're very comfortable. They look great. We have them in black and in red. And as Comrade Jesse Neville said, that we are we want to thank our donors. We want you to know that that we appreciate you and that this fight back could not be done without you. And we will be sending you thank you cards and stickers to everyone, every person who donates, regardless of what amount. So make sure that when you do donate, you fill out this form that is linked on the page, like where you donate. And if not, our chat moderators will put that in the chat for you right now because we need your mailing address in order to send you your thank you card. And that's one thing that we can't do on the Open Collective, which is our fiscal sponsor, but there is a link after you donate. Fill that out and give us that information. So if you've already donated, you can go ahead and fill out the form that our chat moderators will put in the chat. And again, I'm going to turn it back to Comrade Alikia, who is, thank you so much, who just gave us our list down of who has donated so far. So that puts us actually at, right now, we are at $257 so far, if I did that correctly, raised for tonight. So keep giving, comrades, bring people onto this meeting. Let's reach our goal for today. Uhuru, back to you.
Yes, before I continue, I want to quote something that the chairman said a bit earlier. I don't have the exact wording, but what he said is that coming out of this meeting, people will be armed with a new way to fight back against the many attacks that are being made against the Uhuru movement, the African People's Socialist Party, and himself, Chairman Omali Ishitela. And, that's the thing about the Uhuru movement. And when you come in contact with the Uhuru movement, because a lot of people do want to fight back, they recognize what the system is, they recognize our relationship to the system, and they don't know where they fit in, or what they can contribute to the fight back. And then the Uhuru movement always shows you all the different fronts that you can participate in the overall fight back. And none of it is too small because you're not doing any of it by yourself. Like Fofi was saying earlier, that's the thing about organization and collectivizing. So this is our collective commitment. Everyone who made the decision to attend this event today understands the urgency to not only mobilize, but to leave this event $1,000 closer to funding the ability of the APSP to wage this fight back against the colonial state and put the FBI on trial. Let's make this commitment together that we will leave this event at least $1,000 closer to our goal. Again, you can do this by going to handsoffuhuru.org/donate and donate, or you can make a pledge today. I want to acknowledge Kara, who just donated $50.
Kara.
Uhuru. By creating a people's movement to fund this legal fight back, we are undermining the US government's and FBI's objectives, which are to take Chairman Omali Ishitala and other Uhuru leaders off the street, throw the whole movement into a state of disarray and chaos, and force the party to divert resources away from its programs of African working class dual and contending power and economic development towards legal fees and other expenses. Uhuru and Mwezi, I'm turning it back to you.
Thank you, Comrade. Yeah, I just really want to appreciate what you said, Comrade Alikia, earlier about the collective struggle. We need all the skills, right? And sometimes maybe we can't give, but if we can give, we can give what we think might be a little, but every single penny, every single dollar counts. And I just want to say that, the importance of us raising these resources, as we have been saying, is because we have a legal strategy, a legal team that is assembled and that is here to defend the Chairman Omali Ishitala, and the other Uhuru movement leaders who have been targeted by the FBI. And these funds have to go and will go towards retaining those lawyers, right? So that they can represent us and the people in this movement post-indictment. So I want to just appreciate everybody and just say that, because we understand that when we go to trial, we will win. But we are here to say that, again, the FBI did not and will not succeed, right, in their goal. The party is moving forward and with these programs. And as we said, these programs that have come under attack, we will continue to wage a serious fight back to let them know that we, as the people, African people, have the right to self-determination and have the right to organize in our own interests, and that not 1 cent of anything that we do here that we have raised in the movement will go towards or go away from the ability for us to continue to feed, clothe, and house African people and help us to do that for ourselves. So again, comrades, let's win and let's fund this fight back. We have some more donations that are coming in, and I want to thank those who are going to handsoffuhuru.org/donate, because with every dollar that you donate, you are putting your handprint on that victory that will go down in history. So let's see who else has put their fingerprint on this history handprint. Comrade Alikia, who else do we have that just gave?
We have Angelica, who pledges to win the Green Party of St. Louis to contribute $500 by April, and she will personally do $200 tomorrow, so that's $700.
Wow. Uhuru, Comrade Angelica, I don't know if you're on the ground, but if you're there, wherever you are, I want to salute you. Uhuru, so what does that take us to? That is 200, so that's $557 raised tonight. We are close to our goal, comrades, and we can make it. And please continue to give tomorrow, after this webinar. Thank you, comrades, who have given so far.
We have a little more. We have Comrade Jesse with $50. Thank you, Comrade Jesse.
Uhuru. So that puts us at 607. I think my math is working tonight, comrades. Uhuru. Uhuru, comrades. Thank you, Jesse, for that donation. And I don't know about you, Comrade Alikia, but I think we are tight on time and we do have to close. But I do want to just say that people can still continue to give. They can go to handsoffuhuru.org/donate. And I do want to mention that your donation is 100% tax deductible. Our fiscal sponsor is a 501c3 nonprofit called Open Collective. When you go to handsoffuhuru.org/donate, you will find that out. So when you give, you will get that return. We just want to say that. So I want to just thank you, Comrade Alikia, for being on with me. Any last statements before we close it out?
Yes, 2 things. One, our dedicated mathematician said that you were right the first time. It's 557 that is raised so far. And also, I just wanted to, continue to encourage people to support the Uhuru movement, support the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa. In that video that Jesse mentioned, got over 14,000 views on TikTok. So many people were expressing, support in one way or another for the movement and being directed, to the website. So many people were saying that, the FBI doesn't do this to the Klan. They do it to us. They do it, to Black people when whenever they see us uniting. Some people were making comparison to Black Wall Street. Some people were saying this is COINTEL Pro 2.0. So, you know, this is why it's important for us to fight back. We can't just sit there and take it. So that's all I wanted to say. Hands off Uhuru.
Hands off Africa. And thank you, Comrade Alikia. I just want to appreciate what you just said, because again, we, you know, what you just, you know, reminded us of at this, you know, mobilization, and the thousands of people who are watching this online should give us, again, give this even greater weight, right? And urgency for the task to raise these funds, to raise these resources, and to stop the US government from attempting to do that very same thing to Chairman Amalia Shatella that they have done to our African martyrs, to our African leaders, and to the African People's Socialist Party. So again, with these threats of indictments breathing down our necks, they want to, as we know, make Chairman Amalia Shatella a political prisoner, and we will not let that happen. And again, I want to appreciate everybody. And like Comrade Alikia and I said, we say hands off Uhuru, hands off Africa. Go to handsoffuhuru.org/donate and make your call and make your donation today. Uhuru, comrades. Uhuru. Thank you, Comrade Alikia. And thank you, everybody who has donated for today. Please continue to give, comrades. We may have just a little bit of time for questions, but you know, I do want to move right into our announcements. And if you do have any questions that we are unable to address tonight, we want to keep it brief because it is late and we do have a lot to get to before we get back to you. But I'm going to go over our announcements right now. And so we'll go ahead and get those started. Uhuru. All right. So again, coming soon, Regions Banks, we will be planning protests that we will have information out for you very soon. You have the address, start mapping. If you plan to be there on the ground, get on Google Maps or whatever and see how long and how much it's going to take you to get there. Bring your people, bring your base. If you're on the ground in Birmingham, Alabama, let us know. Email us at info@handsoffuhuru.org. You can also call the campaign. I'll have information for that as well in the chat for you. So we just want to say this is coming soon. And if you do want to be a part of planning these mobilizations, you can also say that as well in the chat, or you can email us as well. Uhuru. Again, fund the legal defense fee for the legal defense for the African People's Socialist Party, Chairman Amalia Shatella. Again, we say stop the legal lynching of Chairman Amalia Shatella, fund the legal defense. We need $277,500 to raise to meet this goal to defend us pre-indictments. So comrades, go there and make this fight back happen. Uhuru. What you can do. One thing that anybody and everybody can do is sign the petition. If you have seen us out in the streets, you have seen us with these paper petitions, taking them to the streets, go to handsofffuhuru.org/petition, sign the petition. If you want to help distribute this petition and get signatures, go to our, you can also go to our website under our Take Action tab, and you can download in the outreach resources all of the different types of forms that we have, including the petition signature, which we also have in French as well for those who are French speaking. And we will, if we need a Spanish one, you let us know. And you know what, we should get that out already for you as well. So go there and sign the petition online or paper petition. Uhuru. All right, comrades. So again, we just talked about how you can help build the committee to raise resources, and you can also join the National Committee for the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa Defense Campaign. Go to handsofffuhuru.org/volunteer. Let us know that you want to volunteer. We have volunteers coming in from all parts of the globe, turning in their skills to this fight back, and we want you to be a part of it as well. Uhuru. You can also follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can do that by going at @HandsOffUhuru on any of those platforms to stay up to date. And for those of you who have not registered, you must go to tinyurl.com/HOU21 MARS, which means March in French, because this will be a French webinar that will be that will feature members of our movement, including Chairman Omali Yeshitela, and African leaders around the world, saluting the commemoration of the International Month of African Martyrs from Cameroon to Haiti. It's going to be an amazing program. We recommend that you register and attend, and you will enjoy. There will be brief translation for the keynote presentation in English. All right, comrades. And on April 1st in Antwerp, we have our event. This will be sort of a conference, not so much of a conference as sorts, but this will be our Resist War and Repression, Building the Anti-Colonial Fight Back. We'll have more information for this up on our website, but we're very excited to expand and bust through the colonial borders that have been placed on us in this resistance of the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa. So we invite you to go to tinyurl.com/resist-and-build-2023 to register for this conference. And on April 7th through the 9th, the 2023 Electoral Campaign School taking place in St. Petersburg, Florida at the Uhuru House, sponsored by the Black is Back, hosted by the Black is Back Coalition, but that Hands Off Uhuru will be proudly endorsing, because as we know, part of what the indictment, talked about was that here we are running, candidates and things like that are, influenced by the Russians. Well, we say, hell no. We say, this is what we've been doing. This is how we teach the African working class and people who want to lead on the questions of reparations, on questions of genocide against the African community. So come to this electoral school. It will be electrifying. I've been to one in the past. It was amazing. And you will learn so much. And you will learn how to take revolution and put it on the ballot. So go to blackisbackcoalition.org for more information to register and to find out more details. And finally, for all details, especially our upcoming events, I saw a question in the chat about when will the mobilizations be for Regions Bank. That will be posted on the handsoffuhuru.org events website. We will send out messages as well. So please sign up for our newsletter to be up to date with that. For all events and activities, you can find that on our website there. So I want to, in a moment, just turn it back over to our comrades on the ground in Aquaba Hall for any closing words by Chairman Omali Yeshitela and or any of the comrades. But again, wanted to just appreciate everybody for coming on tonight, for showing your interest and your willingness to help make this campaign as dynamic as it can be and put it out to the people in the creative ways that we can. So on behalf of the campaign, I want to say Uhuru and Uhuru Chairman.
Uhuru, thank you very much, Comrade Mwezi. And I want to express my appreciation to everybody who participates in this Hands Off Uhuru campaign, and to everybody who may just be visiting for the purpose of this webinar. It's an extremely important work that we are doing. And I think that I just wanted to help deepen one thing about the resources, because we are asking for a lot of money. We're fighting for a lot of money. And because you see that we're talking about having to raise $277,500, but that's the minimum. And that should be very clear. That's the minimum. It's the minimum just even for the people who we've been told they're going to indict. And so I'm saying this because we're going to say it again. And you need to understand why we can raise $277,500 and still need more resources. So that is the minimum. And I also wanted to say that in terms of this campaign, that we have to make sure that we turn this attack on us into a deep and profound exposure and raising of the contradictions of this country, this government, this war that's been made against African people. This attack on us must contribute to the liberation of African people. It must contribute to deepening this struggle against colonialism and the colonial mode of production. Otherwise, it's just another person. And we're not fighting this just to defend ourselves as individuals or something like that. We could have done that, and lawyers would advise us not to say anything, just to be quiet. But the thing is that that's the objective of the attack in the first place, to quiet us down. And so what we will do and what we have to do and what you have to help us do is use this attack on us as something that raises the contradiction, deepens the exposure of the nature of the system and the ongoing relentless war that's been made against African people that brought us to this country in the first place. And that we shouldn't ever have to feel that it's necessary to be in some kind of defensive posture of whether we broke the law, because what we've said all along, and it continues to be true, that freedom is illegal for Black people. And the fact is that Africans are the only people in this country, other than the indigenous people themselves, who did not come to this country looking for a better way of life. We lost a better way of life. And under a system of slavery, then obviously freedom is illegal. And anybody who tries to be free, that's the struggle that we've been engaged in since our coming to this country. It didn't take any Russians or anything to tell us anything about this. I think it's really important to say that and for all of us to understand that. And I think part of what turning this thing and exposing the contradictions is that every time we have an opportunity, we need to equate what they are doing to us with Jim Crow. We need to equate it with Wall Street. We need to bring up the skeletons that they want to have in the closet and say, this is who America is, and this is what this attack about us. It's the same thing. It's Jim Crow all over again. It's bombing of Black Wall Street. And that's a really important thing, because it is an attack on these economic development programs that we're looking at. And that's what Tulsa, Oklahoma was about. And this is something that can resonate if we take the story out and then help to expose who the real criminal is or should be in this case. So that's something that I think all of us should be aware of. And also we have to help the Democrats recognize that what Biden is doing and running right now, he's campaigning without having declared it yet for president, that Biden is hurting the Democratic Party chances in 2024. And all of them need to get a sense of that. They need to see evidence of that, as I mentioned, with yard signs in our yards. And we should even initiate a campaign call in to the Democratic Party national headquarters to start talking to them. And they need to get a sense of this coming from Black people and other people all around the country, that you definitely will not get our vote and that we will work against you. I am calling you now from Vermont. Wherever in Vermont. And I'm telling you that I am working against the Democratic Party campaign, and that you, because of what you're doing to Black people, attack on these economic development programs. I'm calling you now from Houston, Texas. I want you to know this is what the deal is, and this is what has to happen from everywhere, that you're attacking the Black community, because first of all, they need the African vote, and they don't need just the African vote. But it's particular that they need the African vote, and they need to feel the pinching of their shoes, because the people are saying you will not get this margin that you so desperately need. As we know, right now, polling shows that they are close. That is Trump and Biden, and the Democrats and Republicans. They have this almost 50% difference. And African people make up something like 25% of the membership of the Democratic Party. And with Africans and with friends of African people who engage in this, then we can make it clear to everybody. And it's not just the presidency that gets hurt, everybody who's on that ticket, everybody who's down ballot even, who, because people go and they intend to vote for the Democratic Party up and down the ballot, with the president being at the top of that, and we need to know that, then let them know. This is a different kind of movement and struggle than what most of what characterizes itself as the movement is accustomed to. This is a different kind. This is something that can involve just ordinary people who don't like oppression, who don't like what the FBI is doing, who don't like the assault that's being made on the right of Black people to have economic development. So then we need to do that. And help people, everybody know that something that Biden in this attack is helping the Democratic Party altogether. And when we talk about Black Wall Street, we get an opportunity again to put forth all of our economic development programs. So that's important. Tell them about this is what we're doing. This is the economic development program. This is what they're trying to stop. And finally, I wanted to say, usually I am reluctant to participate in something like what I just did in Washington, D.C. with the Answer Coalition. And that's because of the history of the so-called peace movement and white-led anti-war movement. But I think much of that has changed. And I think we played a role in changing it, especially with the Black is Back Coalition, where we have put our own handprint on the whole question of freedom and peace, et cetera. And the Answer Coalition, they were quite respectful when they asked us to be there and how they greeted us once we got there. But I was still had some trepidation until I got there. And when I got there, I saw the evidence of the work that you have done. That is to say, the people who were part of Hands Off Uhuru. It was you who used all of your platforms to let everybody know this is what's happening to the Uhuru movement. This is what's happening to Chairman Amalia Shatella. This is what's happening with the so-called unindicted co-conspirators. You did that. And when I walked into the Lafayette Park, where this rally started, I was greeted by so many people, some people who met us through this attack, some people who have actually interviewed me during the process of resisting this attack. Some people who heard about it, some people who had a small base of folk who on their own platforms, et cetera, but so many people with small bases, the aggregate has just had an overwhelming kind of influence. So by the time I got there, I got on the stage, I was known, and the campaign and the issues we were talking about, people had no trouble getting signatures on these petitions in opposition to what the FBI is doing to us in support of this movement. So I'm saying this to help you know just how significant your participation is, just how significant the Hands Off Uhuru movement is. And I'm saying this to say that the movement is bigger than the party. And the movement has embraced all kinds of people who can unite with the legitimacy of the party. And there are only two explanations for what happened. And that is the one that the FBI provides and the one that we provide. And this is the stark kinds of choice that people have to make. Do you believe that we committed a crime? And or do you believe what we say, or do you believe what the FBI said? It's just that simple. And if you don't believe we committed a crime, then the question is, why then are we being attacked? That's the question that's out there that has to be answered. And then, of course, that shows that it's clearly a political attack, and it shows that it's historic, because that's the way they have always treated the African liberation movement. And that's why you're stepping forward and doing what it is that you do. So I just wanted to, again, express my appreciation for that. I'm sorry that we didn't have the ability to say at this moment when the Birmingham mobilization is going to happen, because I think it's extremely important. We call it Birmingham now, but it used to be known in my lifetime as Birmingham. It was called Birmingham because of the murders of African people there. And here you got Regions Bank sitting up there getting rich and still looting the African community and giving mortgages to private prisons, which is another way of saying convict leasing, because that's all it is. Now the prisons are leasing, the state leasing out, renting out these African people to these white people, these corporations and things, just like they did. U.S. Steel was one of the biggest beneficiaries of free labor under this whole prison convict leasing thing right there in Birmingham, Alabama. So, and nothing changed. And that's why they're at me, and that's why I'm at them. And that's why I want you to join us, because nothing has changed except that they have given birth to an incredible movement that's going to not only push them back, but open up a new era of freedom for all the people on this planet Earth, and especially for Africans and Africa everywhere. Uhuru. Hands off Uhuru.
Hands off Africa. Uhuru Chairman, just really want to salute that call to action. And yes, we will have that information out within days, everybody around when the mobilization will be. So I just want to unite with the urgency of that, and just the overall deepening of what this campaign means, why we are raising these resources, what it means when we say we are putting the state on trial, and what it means when we say this is a mass movement and the people will win, the people will be a part of this struggle and a part of this victory. So on behalf of everybody, I'm going to say hands off Uhuru, hands off Africa, and join us again soon, comrades. Uhuru.